Hey guys, welcome back to Long Division Masterclass. In this video, we are going to do division with a 3-digit dividend. If you haven't checked out the first video, go back and check that out. It's going to have all of the really detailed information about long division. In this one, we're going to speed it up a little bit. So I already have my mnemonic device written down over here. And it stands for Does McDonald's sell burgers with cheese? And of course, each of those steps stand for a step in division. So division, multiplication, subtraction, bring down a number, and check your work. So let's go ahead and get started. In this problem, we are dividing 367, that's our dividend, by 5. I think I need to make the tail up here just a little bit longer. You can always extend it if you need. All right, we are ready for step 1, which is to divide. And in division, we look at one digit at a time and move to the right as we need. So we're going to start with just 3 and ask ourselves, 3 divided by 5 is what? How many times does 5 go into 3? It won't. 3 is smaller than 5. So it won't go in there at all, and we can put a 0 above the 3. When you get to put a 0 up there in the quotient, in the answer portion of the problem, then you get to do something else exciting. We were on this divide step, and now we get to skip all the way through and come back to divide again. We don't have to do any of these. So we're ready to divide again, but we have to move back a digit. So we're now combining 3 and 6 to make 36. And we're dividing 36 divided by 5. 5 will go into 36 how many times? And this is where in the last video I talked about skip counting. If you're not sure on the multiplication facts, skip count by your divisor, in this case it's 5, until you get as close as you can to the number you're looking for without going over. Now, 5s are probably something you can skip count in your head by pretty quickly, but I'm going to write them out to the side just because I want you to remember this tip. So I'm skip counting by 5s along this side here. I'm at 35, that's pretty close, but sometimes you might go just past it to make sure, yeah, I can't get any more in there. Now, we know 40 is too much, so I'm going to cross that out. If we were to go back and count, we would see that it took us 7 times to get to 35. So 7 5s. Now we're ready for that multiply step. And if you've done the divide step, the multiply step should be a snap because you either have your skip counting out here to the side or you know your multiplication facts and that's how you got to that first step. That's how you did the first step of dividing. So we know that 7 times 5 is 35. And now we're ready to subtract. When we subtract 36 minus 35, we're left with 1. And now we're ready for the bring down step. So we're going to bring down the next number in the dividend, which is 7. I always draw an arrow just to keep things nice and lined up. And then I make my new number. So our new number is 17, and we're now doing 17 divided by 5. And this is where that skip counting you did comes in handy again, because now you can look back to it a second time. You've already done the skip counting. That's true when you do long division, especially the longer your dividend is, you'll use it more. So if we look at our skip counting, we see that it takes 3 times to get to 15 and 4 to get to 20. 20 is too much. So that means that 5 goes into 17 just 3 times. And we know from our skip counting, and maybe you know from your multiplication facts, that 3 times 5 is 15. That was the multiplication step, and now we're ready to subtract. So 17 minus 15 gives us 2. We're now to that bring down step, and at some point you will have to skip the bring down step because there's nothing else to bring down, and that's the case right now. So we're all done. We have our answer up here, 73, and we have a leftover right here, 2. So our answer is 73 remainder 2. Or another way to write that is whole number in the circle, numerator, denominator. So we can write it as 73 and 2/5, because what we had left was just 2 out of the 5 that we would have needed for another whole number. So our answer is 73 remainder 2 or 73 and 2/5. Thanks for watching.